Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on an industry known for extreme exclusivity, high-altitude luxury, and, frankly, total secrecy. I mean, when you picture private jets, you're picturing billionaires, celebrities, and completely custom itineraries, right? But beneath the surface of all these customized global journeys exists a shadow market. It's essentially the dark matter of aviation logistics, an invisible, highly fluid network that literally dictates the real-world pricing of luxury travel. Today, we're going to expose the hidden economy of private jet empty-leg flights. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Negative 75%. In the world of ultra-luxury aviation, operators are actively slashing prices on multi-million-dollar aircraft by up to 75%. That means a flight that normally costs tens of thousands of euros can suddenly become accessible for a fraction of that price. Crazy, right? But the immediate question this raises is why? Why on earth would a luxury operator willingly take a massive hit on their standard rates, effectively turning premium charter flights into bargain deals? Well, to solve that mystery, we really need to look at how these planes actually move. Section 1. The engine, the repositioning rule. So, to understand these extreme discounts, we have to look at the core mechanism driving this entire hidden economy. Repositioning happens the literal moment a plane finishes a paying mission. Let's say a client books a flight from London to Aspen. Once they land in Aspen, their journey is over, done. But that aircraft, it often needs to return to its home base, or maybe immediately head over to Los Angeles to pick up the next paying client. That means the plane has to fly anyway, and it has to fly completely empty. It's a cold, hard logistical fact. For the operator, an empty flight is a massive liability. They're still paying for the fuel, they're paying the crew, and they're incurring wear and tear on the aircraft. Every single minute in the air costs money, and they are desperately trying to offset those massive committed costs.
Which brings us to a beautiful summary of the whole concept. You are not creating a journey, you are claiming one that already existed. This is the fundamental difference from a standard charter. When you book a standard charter, you're paying the full premium value for a flight path perfectly designed around your specific schedule. But with an empty leg, you're stepping into a logistical gap. You are simply paying a fraction of a cost that has essentially already been borne by another client. The operator is just trying to salvage whatever revenue they can from what they call a deadhead flight.
Section 2. Decoding the discount tiers.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the stark contrast between these two tiers. The discount you get is directly tied to how desperately the operator needs you. If an operator has an empty leg on a very popular route, say a Friday evening flight from Paris to Geneva, and they know about it early, they don't have to panic. There's natural demand there, so they offer a moderate discount, usually somewhere between 25% and 40%. But look at the other side. Extreme discounts of 60% to 75% happen when there's a last-minute panic fill. Imagine an obscure route on a Tuesday morning and the plane leaves in 4 hours. The time pressure is absolutely immense, the natural demand is practically zero, and so the pricing becomes incredibly aggressive. To break that down a bit further, here are the specific market factors that dictate this completely fluid pricing. First, lead time before departure. As we just discussed, the closer to the flight, the cheaper it gets. Second, the aircraft category. A small light jet is fundamentally going to cost less than a heavy long-range jet. Third, route popularity. And actually, here's the great paradox of empty legs. The steepest discounts happen exactly where natural demand is the absolute weakest. Finally, you have ancillary fees, things like taxes, handling, and catering that might be tacked onto the base rate. All of these factors are constantly dancing together in real time to generate your final price.
Section 3. Benchmark pricing by jet. Let's actually crunch the numbers here, and frankly, this math is pretty wild. For a short route on a light jet, a standard charter runs about 5,000 euros. But if you catch it as an empty leg, that plummets to between 1,500 and 3,000 euros. Let's look at the mid-sized jets. A standard 9,000 euro flight falls to somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 euros. And the most staggering drop by far is in the long-range category. A massive 30,000 euro intercontinental flight can plunge down to between 10,000 and 18,000 euros under the right conditions. Now, it is important to remember these figures are indicative and highly fluid, but the sheer volume of the savings, it's undeniable.
And this brilliantly illustrates the reality for the passenger. Just look at a standard 2-hour flight on a mid-sized jet. The standard charter is towering all the way up there at 9,000 euros, while the empty leg is sitting pretty at 3,000 euros. But here is the ultimate insider secret. Once you actually step onto that tarmac, nothing is different. You're flying in the exact same luxury aircraft, you have the exact same highly trained crew, you receive the exact same premium service. Literally, the only difference between the person who paid 9,000 euros yesterday and you paying 3,000 euros today is that the trip wasn't originally created for you. Section 4. The high-stakes risks.
Now, before you rush out to book your discounted luxury weekend, we really need to talk about the severe operational trade-offs. This is the catch, and man, it is a big one. When you book an empty leg, you surrender all control. You have absolutely no choice of date, no choice of route, and no choice of time. You are seizing an existing opportunity, period. Furthermore, these are almost exclusively one-way flights. You've got to figure out how to get back entirely on your own, which changes your overall budget. And worst of all, there is a severe risk of sudden cancellation. You have to remember that you are at the absolute mercy of the primary paying client. If the route doesn't perfectly fit your needs, the ground costs just to reach the departure airport can completely wipe out your savings in a heartbeat.
So the crucial point is this: if the primary flight changes, yours disappears too. Let that sink in for a second. The empty leg only exists because a paying mission surrounds it. If the billionaire who booked the main charter decides, hey, I think I'll stay in Aspen an extra day, or they cancel their trip entirely, your incredible €3,000 bargain flight simply ceases to exist. Poof, gone. For anyone with a time-critical schedule, say trying to get to an important business meeting or a wedding, relying on an empty leg without a solid, immediate fallback option is a massive, incredibly stressful gamble.
So, how do the actual insiders navigate this minefield? Well, they don't spend their days frantically refreshing aggregate websites, I'll tell you that. They follow a very clear strategy. Step 1, they broaden their criteria. They stay flexible on dates, nearby airports, and exact schedules. Step 2, they use independent brokers like Private Jets Connect. Instead of hunting blindly, they let a broker monitor the market, compare sources, and set up alerts for when an exact match appears. This ensures they get transparent quotes with absolutely no hidden fees from audited operators. And step 3, they calculate the total cost. They factor in the return flight and all those ancillary expenses before deciding if it's actually a good deal.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question of this hidden aviation economy. Is the massive upfront savings worth the total lack of control? Think about it. You can fly like a billionaire for a fraction of the price, experiencing the exact same aircraft and service, but you have to trade away the very thing that makes private aviation so appealing in the first place: absolute convenience and certainty. It's a fascinating balancing act between extreme luxury and extreme logistical risk. Weigh those risks carefully before you book. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep your eyes on the skies.